Welcome back to Straight Facts on Tuesday. LB's with me. Dan Potts is in the house. How are you, gentlemen?
I'm all right, mate.
I'm mega. Weekend, so. I'm mega. No, that question. Let's be honest. That question was directed to me, Potts.
Yes,
you know
it was. It was.
You know that question was for me.
How are you, sir? How are you?
It's tough. It's tough out here. My club last year only lost 3 games in the whole league season. So when we lost a game, it was easy to take. We quickly rebounded. I'm not used to this, man. You know what I mean? It's been a long time. It's been a long time. So yeah, I'm struggling here. You know what I mean? We got the mighty Feyenoord coming to the Stade Etihad later on, who just smacked up Herenveen 3-0 at the weekend, guys. Do you know what I mean? So scary times out here. Scary times out here. But we must go on. The show must go on.
Do you know what I love? Last night, I just sort of put in the group chat, you ready for your cooking tomorrow, LB? And LB just responded once with, you didn't beat Ipswich. And I was like, oh, he's feeling it. Just in your response, I was like, he's feeling it. And I like it because you haven't gone through anything like this for the best part of a decade. So it must be hard to take.
Well, five losses in a row is, let's be honest, lads, that's bad. That's if you look at like teams that get relegated, yeah, a lot of these teams don't lose 5 games in a row. Like they at least get the odd draw. So to lose 5 in a row, it's peak. But listen, I'm mighty confident tonight. We are going to stop the rot. Tonight it will end. Yeah, I'm doing a pray along. I'm not even doing watch alongs now. I'm doing a pray along. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, tonight we'll be doing a pray along on the channel. And yeah, hopefully we end. I'm not even asking for a win, by the way. Just get me a draw. Just get me a draw tonight against Feyenoord. And yeah, we'll see what happens, man. But it's dark. It is very, very dark right now.
It definitely is. I mean, a bit of banter here, but Fergie never lost 4 in a row. He definitely never didn't lose 5 in a row. And I'm stealing this from Saeed because I'm not going to try and pretend like I made it up. But when he said it, I went and watched. I didn't see it on Saturday. But Fergie also, you guys had what you guys always had on us because Pep's your manager is Fergie's hand twitching in that Champions League final. You had the Fergie hand twitch, okay? But what Fergie never did on TV, stressed after losing 5 on the bounce, was play and scratch his bollocks on TV, like out of frustration. So for me, these are the little wins. These are the little wins in this because we now have a better mean than Fergie's hand going a little bit do Gary. So yeah, I'm do Gary, do Lally is what I'm say. Who the fuck's do Gary?
Gary used to play up front for France, didn't he?
But it's mate, you probably will win tonight. You probably will win tonight. But my question for you generally is, are Manchester City finished this season in terms of the league?
I think we have to win at Anfield, and we'd never win there. We won twice in 20 years. So, I mean, it's 8 points. Even if we get a draw, right? And people are like, a draw's not too bad. It stays at 8 points if it's a draw. Yeah. But, one sec, let me just move my camera up. I feel like I'm well low down. There we go. Even if we draw the game, yeah, we still got to play Villa. Still got to play Palace away. Still got to play Forest at home. We still got to play United all before January. Now, you guys will know because I said it at the time, yeah, and I've said it ever since the Rodri injury. I said, and Potsy will know this, I've said it to him lots of times, we just need to get to January. We can get to January and still be in a title race. I'll back us. The problem is now is I don't think we're going to be in a title race by January the 1st because I don't really think Liverpool are going to be dropping too many points, and I think we'll drop more points. So listen, if we can somehow fluke a win at Anfield on Sunday, then yeah, I think we'll probably still have a shot. But the way we're playing and the way Liverpool are just scoring goals, I just don't see it. My confidence is shot. So yeah, league wise, I don't think we'll win the league. I think Liverpool are going to win it. But listen, Champions League, we've still got a chance because we'll have players back for in January and FA Cup as well. So the season isn't over. We've still got 2 trophies we can go for. But as for the league, I just don't see it now. Unless we win on Sunday, which I just have zero confidence for because we've won twice in 20 years.
I think Liverpool win on Sunday, and I think they'll win the league. And Man City will be out of it. I know that we never should write off City and Pep, but 11 points, that means Liverpool got to lose 4 and City have pretty much got to win every single game to the end of the season. Like I just don't see that happening. And I think Man City have to win at the weekend. Like it's a must-win game. If there's a bigger must-win game, it's that one. Now, in terms of tonight, I think City will probably win, and I don't see it being 6 in a row, that's for sure. But I think the league is so interesting right now. But I look at what Manchester City have done and the way they've set up, and I didn't see many Man City fans at the time crying about this, but it's kind of pretty obvious when LB talks about why they are a mess at the moment, because they've got aging players that haven't been kind of replaced or back up for. And I don't really see many people crying about it. In fact, people were really like celebrating the Gundogan signing. Now, I understood it at the time because obviously a legend at the club, really, wasn't he? Let's be real. Like what he did that season for the treble winning was unreal, right? But when he came back, I think people forgot that he was 34 and pretty much washed and finished. And now trying to watch him run is actually embarrassing, like in terms of his in-frame style. So you've got him and you've got Kovacic and you've got Bernardo Silva and you've got all these guys, like Kyle Walker, that are all in their late 30s now, who, let's be real, you can't sit and slag off because of what they've done in their careers. But right now, all playing in the same team together, it doesn't matter that the other 4 or 5 around them are 24, 21 and 22, whatever they are, because they are so slow and they are waltzing through that midfield. So, look, I said at the time, Rodri was going to be badly missed, like absolutely ridiculously, massively missed. But on top of that, you've got nobody scoring goals. And this is the thing I said to you the other week, Tel, about Manchester United not scoring goals. Manchester City are in that bracket at the moment. Like, look, they can score goals, right? They've got players in their team that can, but they're not. Like, Doku's not scoring. Grealish isn't scoring, and he's been injured. You've got
Grealish. Sorry, Grealish hasn't scored a goal in 2024,
which is madness, absolute madness. That can you imagine if that was Martinelli or if that was Saka or if that was what it would be like? It'd be like, oh my god, and people are just brushing over that. This guy cost 100 million, by the way, 100 million pounds. It's absolutely mad. And he hasn't scored a goal since the end. It's just unbelievable. Who's the other lad you bought on the wing? Savinho. He hasn't. He's not scoring. He's not scoring. So Marcelo Nunez, he scored a couple of goals, and everyone was like, right, we've got to play him on the left now after, because Doku and Grealish aren't scoring. And when Ireland don't score, Man City don't score. So I've got to ask the question, LB, are you Rodri FC?
Yeah, I said it. I kind of hinted at this in the summer, and it sort of annoys me that I wasn't stronger in my feelings. I got him too emotionally attached to the Gundogan signing, because in the summer I said multiple times I think Rodri is the single most important player, than any other player for a single team than any other player in the world. I.e., I think if you put Rodri in this team, I think we're going to win the league. I think we're one of the best teams in the world, right? Probably the best team in the world. You take him out, we just go to like a decent team. Do you know what I mean? And for me, the Gundogan signing, as fans, obviously, most of us got gassed. Not all City fans did, to be fair, but most of us got gassed about it. But really, we should have really been on the club, really, and saying, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You need to be making signings. The club obviously didn't want to spend the money for Bruno G, which now is just looking ridiculous. Because this is the thing about the money, and I've always said this about money, right? I think too many fans get too sort of defensive and too worried about the money that clubs spend. They're not playing with the real money, mate, yeah? They're spending hundreds of millions of pounds on transfer fees. You look at Chelsea, they spent 115 on Caicedo, right? Yeah. That's now looking 115. Yeah, I mean, they should have, that's now looking like a great purchase. No one cares about the money if the transfer comes off. So City should have activated the clause or just bought Bruno G, even if it would have cost 110, 115. Because at the end of the day, yeah, he would have been an amazing signing for us. And now what the club have done, they've put themselves in a position where they're going to have to sign around 6 or 7 players in the next 2 transfer windows, i.e. January and the summer. So they put themselves under major pressure. Everybody knows that they're coming because in the summer, yeah, we was in a position of strength, right? Because we just won the league. And sometimes when you're in a position of strength, you get arrogant and you get cocky and you say, we're not paying that money because we're in a position of strength and we're the ones that are negotiating hard here, not you, the seller club. But sometimes you just have to pay it because now we're in a position of weakness. So now, unless we activate release clauses, which we probably will do because we release clause FC, every club that we go to try and buy a player knows that we're desperate. Everyone knows that we're desperate for a right back. Everybody knows that we're desperate for 2 midfielders. Everyone knows that we're desperate for a backup striker. And arguably, we could be desperate for a winger. So I think, to me, Tiki's really, really failed. I think he's done a fantastic job, but the last 2 transfer windows have been really, really bad. Listen, I've got to give some sort of say on the Rodri injury. If Rodri didn't get injured, we would be fine. Yeah, I mean, that is really, really unlucky. However, it's the club's responsibility, to identify key areas of the team whereby if a major injury did occur, would the team collapse? And if the answer to that question is yes, the team will collapse, you've got to buy a player. And they didn't buy one.
I think the thing is, I mean, my dad taught me this when I was younger, when I first bought a car, and he spoke about when I put some new tires on there, and he came out and had a look, and he went, "What the hell is that cheap shit you just put on your car?" I went, "Yeah, but they were half the price." And my dad just said, "Cheap is expensive," and that's what City have done. They've been cheap in terms of we're not going to pay Bruno G's release clause, and that moment of cheapness is probably going to cost you dear.
And you know what's annoying about it as well, Terry, is because I've said the same thing: buy cheap, buy twice. Yeah, the problem is we've not even bought cheap. We've spent 50 million on Matheus Nunes and 49 million or 42 million on Phillips. Both are not good enough for Manchester City. So that's 90 million. But I learned this years ago. Did any of you guys have Xbox 360?
No, it's PlayStation.
I didn't.
Right. Well, they used to have these grey headsets, right? That used to come with them, yeah, like Xbox Live and that. You used to have a grey headset. You used to have one earphone there, yeah. That used to come over your head, and you have your mic, right? And it was about £2, £3 you could buy them, but they broke all the time. Anyway, I went through about 5 of them, or maybe like 6 or 7 of them, because they just used to break after a week, right? And I thought to myself, I was only about 12, yeah. I thought to myself, yo, this ain't right, man. I'm buying these headsets, they're breaking every week. So what did I do? I went out and bought a Turtle Beach headset, mate, yeah. Lasted me years. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's still in a box somewhere in the house, yeah, because it still works, yeah. I clocked it, mate, as a 12-year-old. Yeah, if you buy cheap, you buy twice. I'll never make that mistake again.
Or 6 times.
6 times, 7 times. Well, eventually I realized, yo, this ain't working. So I went out and spent the big cash, man. Got a Turtle Beach headset.
Also,
City need to do that now.
And
City need to go out and buy a Turtle Beach midfielder instead of buying these little crappy £3 Matheus Nunes, Calvin Phillips players who are not good enough.
But I agree. And you lot were in a position where, look, you were getting great players 5, 6, 7 years ago for 40, 50, 60 millions, but the market's changed and players are more expensive. And you were in a position 2 years ago where you could have just gone out every summer and done 80 million here, 100 million here, 80 million there, and just kept adding 1 bit of quality or 2 bits of quality every summer to this team. And you theoretically would never have been in trouble. But I think you have cut corners. Hindsight's lucrative, of course. You've cut corners with Calvin Phillips. You've cut corners with Nunes. But I also think, I don't think you are Rodri FC. Because actually, if you had attackers other than Haaland that could score and create, I don't think you'd be 8 points off of Liverpool. You wouldn't. You'd be away from them because, of course, you miss a player of his quality. But Jack Grealish, no goals in 2024. Doku rarely scores. Savio or Savinho. I mean, I think ever since he changed his name to Savinho and tried to do the whole Brazilian thing, he hasn't scored a goal for you. And I know he's new and he's talented. He's a great dribbler. He's exciting. I'm not writing him off yet, but there's no output. When you think about the replacements for Julian Alvarez, the replacements for Mahrez, even the replacement for Raheem Sterling, you haven't done a good enough job. And you don't have bad owners, but it's been a very poor period, I would say, for City's recruitment in terms of replacing these stars, replacing the goals in your team. Because when Haaland doesn't score, whether he's having a bad day or no one can find him because he's being defended well, unless Guardiola scores a screamer, there's very little else in your team. And I think that's another area that needs to be addressed. And there's a comment here, actually, that says, Terry, do me one favor, please. Please have a Foden segment, because I'm tired of our City content creators this is Lorenzo, who's the City fan, that avoid the Foden.
This is a great comment.
All they do is protect him no matter how shit he has been this season. But he's someone that we would have expected, I think, as football fans, to assist and to score more goals and perform better in games. What do you think's gone wrong with him? Because it's whether he's coming on from the bench or starting as he has been recently, he's not stepping up into sort of the hole that KDB has left.
Well, he's not. No, and he's not having a great season so far. Obviously, it's taken him a long time to even start playing games, but he is now at the point where he needs to be doing more. I mean, he's played 90 minutes in the last 4 Premier League matches, hasn't registered a goal or an assist, and I'm pretty sure actually in most of those games he's been just not. He needs to do more, man. He needs to get on the ball. He has been poor. But I just think he's the least of our problems. You know what I mean? This is why I don't focus on him, Lorenzo, is because he's the least of our problems. You know what I mean? Our problems are the fact that we've got pensioners in midfield who can't move. That's our issue. But yeah, he needs to do more. He needs to step up. Haaland needs to step up, man. Haaland doesn't look like he can be asked at the moment. 2 goals in 7. I mean, we could focus on him. Why has he only scored 2 goals in 7 games? So this is the problem. Like, if Lorenzo as a City fan wants us to focus on and has a Foden segment, we can have a Foden segment. Yeah, he needs to do better. But he's not the reason City have lost 3 games in a row. The reason we've lost 5 games in a row. The reason we've lost 5 games in a row is because our midfield is thanks for that, boys. Our midfield is, from a defensive point of view, is an absolute shambles. We've got Kyle Walker at right back who gifts a goal every single game. But yeah, Foden needs to do more. Haaland needs to do more. Savio needs to do more. And well, why you want to just focus on Foden is beyond me. But
I think the reason they do it is the same reason they do it with Palmer, the same reason they do it with Saka, the same reason they do it with Bellingham, and that is what it is. And to be fair, Palmer has actually pulled out Chelsea, who were poor last season, on his own in game. Saka has done, when we've gone through the dumps, he's been the one we look at. And I think that's why people are looking at Foden like, "Come, man, I thought you were player of the year. You're going to dig him out of the hole," and he hasn't been able to do that. The other thing I'll say about City, I don't know what you boys think, but I think Lavia, Rodgers, Delap, and Palmer all get into this squad right now, and all 4 of them have gone in the last couple of years. And I look now and I think, where was that? Where was all that? Like, did you not believe they were going to make it? Is that just a bit unlucky, or should you have kept hold of some of those, give them a more chance? LB, do you know what I mean?
LB, but you, sorry to interject, but I said something on the top 6 show about that last night because of your tweet about giving, I want to say the young player's name, not who's the midfielder.
Nico O'Reilly.
Yeah, Nico, because I heard you say Nico. And this was my thought about when it comes to Pep, is I understand why the Palmers, the Lavias, etc., didn't get as many opportunities as their talent suggested, because you're the best team in the world, so the standard is even higher to get into the team. But you do have the injury problems now, and there is the space in your squad to give some of your academy players a genuine run in the team. And your manager, like, as much as the injuries are not on Pep and the recruitment isn't on Pep, because ultimately that's done by other people. He'll have a say in recruitment and go, okay, I'll take that one of the 3. But the players are being found by the sporting directors and by the club. But surely some of the blame here has to go on Pep, because the fact that he put an aging attacking midfielder in the DM role when you've got young players that play in that position, is there much criticism that you think should go towards him?
A little bit, yeah. And I've said that. I think for me, right, when the problem in your team is the fact that your midfielder in that DM position is just horrendously slow, then yeah, try an academy player. If it doesn't work out, no problem. You know what I mean? Put a Gundogan back in. But the fact that we've not even seen him play, the only thing is as well, this guy played in every single preseason game and looks all right. Now, is he a natural DM? No, but you've got Jacob Wright. He's another academy player. He could play DM. Like, I just want to try him, because at the end of the day, yeah, you're not gonna be able, yeah, to just keep getting away with Gundogan in the 6 every single game. You might get away with it once or twice, but you know, we're at the point now where he's just been found out, and it's sad to see, man. You know what I mean? Because every time I watch this guy running backwards, I swear to God, I could run faster than him, man. He's just so slow, and it's not right. It's not fair on him either. So yeah, for me, I think Pep does need to just chill out and just give one of these younger players a go. And like I say, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We've already lost 5 in a row. You know what I mean? So what, we lose tonight because you play Jacob Wright or Nico O'Reilly, one of the academy players in midfield, like, and what? Yeah, I mean, well, we've lost 5 in a row with Gundogan there, so it doesn't really matter to me. Just try it. You got to try something else, man. You can't carry on doing the same thing.
Do you think the club have made a mistake letting some of their players go though, LB? Because I know some of them you didn't know at the time are going to be top quality. Like Morgan Rodgers apparently wasn't like this huge, great, like he is now back then. But like Palmer, I always thought as a player that I kept being spoken about by Man City fans. Oh, this player's going to be brilliant. It's going to be brilliant. I know you didn't want to see him go. I think Liam Delap, to be fair, is probably a better backup striker than Oscar Bob with a broken leg right now. And, you know, I think you've got a buyback clause with him. Obviously, Lavia's not going to get in the team when Rodri gets in and Haaland's going to play over Delap. But Morgan Rodgers and Palmer would start for you right now.
Well, Palmer was just a disgrace, man. I said it at the time. I don't know what we were doing there. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I seen this guy in the academy. I seen this guy play for City. And unfortunately, too many City fans, got to call it out, man. Too many City fans judged this guy when he wasn't playing in his normal position. Ask Chelsea how many times Cole Palmer's played left wing. Ask them. Tell you what to say? Probably 0 or 1. He probably did it once and then they went, that's shit, never do it again. in the season before he left, yeah, he only played 9 minutes as a right winger. 9 minutes. And I don't think he got many games in the middle. You know what I mean? This guy's got a great goal in the Super. I think he scored in the Super Cup. I think he scored against Arsenal in the Community Shield. This guy's a baller. And the fact we sold him was a disgrace because he didn't even want to leave. He just wanted to go on loan. Now I wouldn't even let him go on loan. If it was me, I'd have kept him with the first team and said, nah, bro, Mahrez is gone. Mahrez is gone and Bernardo's 30. What are you chatting? You're not going anywhere. But the fact that we said, you're not going on loan, you're being sold is crazy. And by the way, we might make the same mistake with McAtee. Because I tell you what, he was a good player in the academy as well. Now he's not getting any minutes either. So if he leaves, you know, if I was a top 10 club, I'd take a gamble on McAtee because he's got potential. He's got serious potential.
There's a lot of City Academy players I'd have a pop with. Your point on the left wing, or he's played there 10 times in his career. All 10 times were at Man City. He's not played there once for Chelsea. What
a shock that is.
Yeah. It's
that's what I'm saying, because that's where we've seen him in the last year, and everyone all City fans are going, he's dead, he's not doing anything. He's playing left wing. He's not a left winger. You know what I mean? He's not left winger.
I agree. I listen. There's a comment that came through that said there's those guys get into our squad right now, but when the main players come back, they won't play.
Cole Palmer would. Tell me Cole Palmer wouldn't play. Come on, man. Cole Palmer would get walking.
I think Rodgers would play now as well in that midfield right now.
Rodgers would probably play. The thing Rodgers
would definitely be in this team. Lavia would be in your team.
Lavia would right now. When Rodgers comes back,
the thing is with the Lavia deal. The thing is with the Lavia deal, as a financial deal, I can see why City did it, right? Because we sold him for £14 million to Southampton. We then had a 20% buyback clause, sell-on clause, right? And City knew this guy was going to go for 30, 40 mil, right? Which is what, an extra 8 mil maybe, right? So you're going to get about 20 odd mil. So you have £20 million for Lavia within a year or two. And we bought Phillips, an England international, who got player of the year for England for 40. When you say it like that, it seems like a good deal. The problem is, Phillips was never good enough for Manchester City in the first place. We should never have signed him and said that at the time. So, you know, sometimes you have to look at, sometimes teams do focus too much on the money and focus too much on financially. They look at it, we do this and we do that, then we get him. And no. Who's the better player? Him or him? Him. So get him.
No, I understand that train of thought. I do, and look, I'd get this comment here. Pep the GOAT. They wouldn't get in the team when everyone's back, but you don't know this. And at the same time, look, Phil Foden. I've always rated him. I've always said how brilliant he is. But at the moment, he's got an opportunity to. I know he's played a lot of games for you. He's been influential. He won Player of the Year. But he's had an opportunity with the injuries and certain stars being out to show that I can be the main man and I can drag this team over the line as well. And so far, he hasn't delivered in that. He just hasn't so far this season, and he might turn it around and he might come good. But at the same time, you know, just in terms of being objective about the situation, maybe it shows why Pep hasn't always made him the main guy. These questions need to be asked. Absolutely. This comment's here for you from Dylan. He says, LB is a propagandist.
I don't even know what that fucking means, bro.
Yeah, I know what propagandist means. I have no idea what context Dylan means it in, because man's attacking.
I don't know what that even means.
LB's ripping into his team here. City buying all the broken down Ferraris, wishing they had new Toyotas. Not serious. Chelsea are knocking on the door for second.
I'll pick up for second place. Go on, bro. You celebrate second place, man. Yeah, our standards. Pick up with your standards.
This here from President Jafar says these men were trashing my club Chelsea all pre-season. Look at them now. Football gods are the ultimate humbler. LB, stay humble, yeah.
We got just to clarify here, we got Chelsea fans whose club is muddied, who spent £1.5 billion are trying to get onto me, and they're gassing up second place. Oh, how the standards have fallen at your football club. You're big up, boys. Appreciate it, man. Yo, what is this, man? The only people I'm listening to here is Liverpool fans. Liverpool fans, I listen to you. Everybody else, not interested.
For the first time ever, I'm rooting for City versus Liverpool, is what D says.
Shout out Diallo, man. My guy. Come on, bro.
I bet you are, D. This here says, Haaland jinxed City by saying stay humble to Arteta. It's City who need to be humble, is what Daniel Ramsden says.
Yeah, if Arsenal do go on and win the league, they're going to have some fun with that, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine?
I'm deleting Twitter. I'm making all my videos private.
That's what I'm praying.
Yeah, if that happens, man. We'll kind of get away with it if Liverpool win it, because obviously he didn't say it to Liverpool. But if Arsenal go on and win it, which they won't, Liverpool will, then yeah, that's nasty, man. That's some nasty work. I can't lie.
That's a meme for life. That's a meme for life.
That is a meme for life, man.
For life. This here from Angoni says, what will be embarrassing, Terry, is City still getting a 5p after a sluggish start. Terrible for Arsenal and Liverpool, maybe even Chelsea. Yeah, if City do win it from here, what does this say about Liverpool, about Arsenal, maybe Chelsea?
Well, what it would say for me, yeah. This is the funny thing about Liverpool, right? I said, remember on the show when before pre-season, I said what Liverpool have done is a disgrace. Only giving Slot Chiesa is an absolute disgrace, right? And I got some criticism from Liverpool fans. I'm not entirely sure why, because I was advocating that you clubs spend money, which all fans should do, right? So, and then when Liverpool started cooking, I started getting DMs and like people at me on Twitter saying, "What are you saying now, LB?" Well, the thing is, lads, yeah, the closer you get to the title without winning it, providing you don't win it, proves my point even more. Because if say City do win the league and Liverpool finish second by a point, that makes it even worse, the fact that you didn't spend, because it means that maybe one single player at 40, 50 mil could have been the difference between you winning the league and not winning the league. So what it tells me is if City do go on and win this league, is again, the recruitment of Liverpool and Arsenal is not good enough. The fact that Arsenal are buying the wrong type of players and Liverpool are just buying no players at all. And I think it throws into doubt Arteta's future massively. Because this is what Arsenal fans have been saying, right? They've been saying, Pep leaves, Arteta will be winning the Prems. That's what they've been saying for ages, right? Well, first of all, Pep's not leaving. He signed a new 2-year contract. And if Pep doesn't win the league with City and Liverpool do, what will they say?
I've got a question for you. It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but I've got to ask it. How many more losses on the bounce into you think that you should sack Pep? like how many more on the bounce until it becomes, and I'm saying this is a bit of a joke to Standards FC as well, because they say that what you've won is irrelevant if the results start becoming embarrassing. So what is it, 7, 8? Like, what if you lost 10 on the bounce?
I wouldn't sack it. I think I wouldn't sack him. You know what I mean? This season. But say we got to the end of the year and it was like, we finished like 10th or something, and it was just a disaster. You had player battles and player v manager issues, and maybe you just go Pep. Pep would probably say, "Listen, I'm this ain't for me." So I wouldn't sack him during the season. I think if he went that badly, you know what I mean, that you didn't even finish in the Champions League, then maybe you could have a conversation at the end of the year. But I think Pep's going to turn it around.
I mean, depending on City's, and I'm asking that really tongue in cheek. I don't think you guys should be even thinking about sacking him this season. But if he doesn't, Dan, imagine City don't make the Champions League, because I know that they're going to sign in January, but sometimes it takes players a year to settle. What if they don't make the Champions League? What if they don't win trophies and don't make the Champions League? Pep's must have done enough to not be like sacked for that underachievement.
Yeah, man, there's credit in the bank, but at the same time, there's standards as well. And I think that Manchester City should be winning at least one trophy every single year. With the money they spend, with the players they've got, with the management they've got the best of everything. The standard should be to win everything, right? So if you don't win that, I just see that comment. If you don't win that, then I think you need to look at that. But look, he's got so much credit in the bank. He's the best manager in the world right now.
Yeah,
I think he will turn it around. I think he will start to win games. Whether you win, I don't know. I mean, you don't look good enough to win the Champions League. You don't look good enough to win anything at the moment. But things can change. Football can change massively. If they don't win it, if they win it this year, my God, Liverpool have crumbled like big time. It's like been a complete and utter crumble. And that could happen because we've seen that with Arsenal. We've seen that with other teams that have crumbled, right, and bottled stuff. But I look at it right now and I think Liverpool right now, I look at Liverpool very, very differently. And I don't think we've appreciated how good Arne Slot's done here, by the way. I actually don't. So for me, I think when you look at what Pep could do, I think Pep, he's not going to start losing 10 in a row, 12 in a row. That's just not going to happen, in my opinion. It wouldn't even surprise me. It wouldn't even surprise me. It's
Bro,
not
I'm being serious, man. I can't do this anymore, me, but
it's not going to do, mate.
if we
He's not
lose
going to
10
get
in
the
a row.
with losses, man. He's not going to get.
What am I meant to say if we lose 10 in a row?
But even like in the league,
You won't,
you're probably going to lose 4 in a row when you play Liverpool this weekend. Who's your game after Liverpool?
I think it's Forest at home.
Oh, you could lose that game as well.
Luckily, they've lost 2 on the bounce as well, so it's
but it's. Do you know what's?
And you got to go Villa Park as well.
Yeah, I think we got to go Villa Park. Yeah, we do.
And Man United derby, Manchester derby as well. Oh my god!
Genuinely,
this is why I think we've got to win on Sunday, and I don't think a draw is good enough.
I agree. Do you know what it is as well? And this is what's interesting. The way this runs through my head is I grew up poor. I've been poor. I'm not even rich now, but if I went for a period of being poor again, I could cope. I've been there. I've done it. I've done the $1.99 2-piece chicken and chips for dinner every night. I've been there. I've lived that life, right? Big up Sam's Chicken. It's not that cheap anymore as well, by the way. It's really expensive now, so I don't know how I'd cope. But if you've always been rich, if you've always been wealthy, becoming broke's harder, in my opinion. And I look at this City team now. Some of the older fans get it, but you look at the hierarchy at the club, the manager, the players, they've never been through this, not as a collective. And that's why if you don't get back into a winning run soon, we saw it with Chelsea for 2 seasons. It was so hard for them to get out of their rut because as a football club, it wasn't like being a smaller, lesser team. It was so alien to them. It was almost like they didn't know how to cope through it. And what's suddenly happening when teams play City, everybody fancies their chances. And it's just a different world. And look, it's not my club, so I'm enjoying watching it. But just from a psychological element, and I love that part of football, I love the mentality side of it. It's so interesting watching a team that has been so phenomenal, so deadly, so dangerous, so formidable for so long, suddenly almost lose who they are. Like it's like your team needs a gap year in Australia to discover itself again. Like you've lost the essence of who you are, and it's so. I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking brilliant to watch because I've been waiting for a little downfall for you guys for a while.
It has been too long, and I'm loving it. It's been brilliant watching Man City's downfall. It really has, and it's something I just did not see happening. Right, but what's frustrated me the most is that we ain't the ones there that are capitalising. It's Liverpool. That's the one thing that's frustrated me the most, right? The other thing I will say is I think Pep's going to change things up. I don't see him going with the same stuff at the moment. I think he's going to have to go with like Rico Lewis at right back instead of Walker. I think he's going to have to put John Stones in midfield instead, get some legs in there. I don't think he's going to. Kanji might have to come back and play centre back or right back or something. He's going to have to change something, man. He can't just keep playing the same team. It's not working. He's got to mix it up. And I think Pep knows that now. You can't lose 5 in a row and then still just keep doing what you're doing. Something's got to change it up, man. And I know that they haven't got the best of squads at the moment in terms of strength and depth, but you've got to try with what you've got to mix it up right now. And I think that he will do that. I expect you to win tonight, and I think I don't want to say that you'll definitely lose at the weekend because the way you're playing, you probably definitely will if you play like that. I just can't see Man City turn up at Anfield doing that. I cannot. I think it's something they've got to change something. LB, you have to. There's something he's got to do. Pep.
I just go on that attack at Liverpool and just see what happens. Isn't it?
Can I ask a question about Pep as well, though? Because everybody is slated Ten Hag, everybody is slated Arteta, everybody slated Klopp. Whenever those managers have kind of sat and listed all their injuries and said, I can't play how I want because of injuries, I can't do what I want. Pep said something very similar yesterday, where he's talking about if he had the likes of John Stones fit, he could play them in midfield. He can't do this because of injuries. When he has his players back, they'll be better. Is it question I've got is not having to go at Pep per se. Is Pep sort of being weak-minded like those other managers, or is it about time as fans we started to be more understanding of teams when they have injuries? Because if the brilliant, great City and the best manager in the world, maybe the GOAT of all time, is saying when you've got injuries like this, it's a massive problem, should we now start being more understanding with Arsenal's injury problems, Liverpool's problems, or is Pep wrong?
No, because you have to be consistent throughout. Because when we've had injuries, United had injuries, Chelsea have had injuries. It's always been, well, you go and buy people in the summer. That's why you have a squad. So I'm going to look at the same with Man City now, because you can't just say. And Pep, to be fair to him, let's be real, he is ridiculously good. This is a guy who everyone's been trying to play like for the last decade. So I'm looking at him now to sort things out. And Man City fans should be as well. They should be looking, look, we can't go and buy anyone now. We've got what we've got. You thought this was good enough. A lot of Man City fans said we're good enough to win the league. So they would have looked at that squad and said, this squad is good enough to win the league, even if Rodri or Haaland gets injured. So go sort it out, Pep. That's the way I see it. And people might look at it and say that's ridiculous and really harsh. But when Arsenal had it, and we have had it, everyone's like, well, I should have done better in the summer. So, and I was one of those, by the way. So we've got to do the same in Man City, in my opinion.
And I hear that. The reason why I ask is, again, Ray, I'm not being hypocritical. I'm asking a question. I haven't given an opinion yet, my friend. Questions are not hypocritical per se. The reason I ask is when Arteta's complained about it, the rhetoric has been he's only moaning about it because he's not a winner. The winners don't complain about it. The winners get the job done. But now that a winner in Pep is moaning in the same way, the reason why I ask, have we got it wrong when we've said, no, Arteta, go and win anyway, or do better in the summer, is now it's the rhetoric's always been, it's only the loser managers that never achieve anything that moan about this. Now we're seeing a winner complain about the same thing. Equally, I remember, I don't know who I did the show with. Might have been Hassam last year, where he was kicking off and talking about Varane, saying Varane has been suckered into that like loser mentality at Man United because he's complaining about the amount of games that players have to play. And it's only the managers and the clubs and the players who win nothing that moan about the volume of games. But we've now started to see Pep and City complain about that, and they're serial winners. So the reason why I'm asking, Ray, isn't because I'm being a hypocrite, is I'm asking the question, have we got it wrong? If you get something wrong and then change your mind, that's the complete opposite of a hypocrite. So I just want to pose a question to the boys.
Yeah, but at the same time, did these other teams legitimately have the same amount of injuries as us?
You could argue last season Man United and Chelsea had more.
No, but you're not in a title race. We're talking about Liverpool and Arsenal, aren't we?
But we're talking about the concept of it. I suppose it's got to be applied contextually. We weren't in a title race. But if Man United have 16 players out injured, some said that's no excuse for the club underperforming. And I agreed with them to a large extent because the system wasn't there. But are we applying that statement universally, that if you regardless of how many injuries you've got, play your system, win your games? Or is it on a case-by-case basis? That's all I'm really asking.
I don't know. Yeah, probably case-by-case basis. I mean, we have been hit with our insane injury outbreak. Yeah, it's been mad. Walker's been injured, Stones is injured, Diaz is injured, Ake's been injured, Akanji's been injured, Rodri's injured, Oscar Bob's injured, Grealish, Doku, Savio have all been injured. Like De Bruyne injured. Literally, our whole team's literally been injured. The only players that have not been injured, by the way, we're only in November, is Ederson, Gavadio, and I think Haaland. That's literally it. I mean, everyone's been injured. So that's the situation. I'm not using it as an excuse. That's not the reason why. The reason is poor transfer window. Tiki let us down. But I don't know, man. I just think that, like, at the end of the day, if you want to look at injuries, you can do. But giving excuses for injuries, it doesn't change the results, and it won't change your future fortunes if you still got injuries. So we can sit here and talk about them, and they have been really bad for us this year. But at the end of the day, it doesn't do us any favors, like speaking about it, because it doesn't change the results, innit?
No, listen, I agree with you both. My mind ain't changed. I think there is an element that you can look at injuries, but you've got to look at the squad building, because if the signings of Nunez and Phillips would have worked, and if Savio and Doku and Grealish were scoring and putting outputs that the players of their price should cost, you'd be top of the league or much closer to Liverpool, and therefore the injury to Rodri would have been not inconsequential, but it wouldn't have had the impact that it has done. Not to fall off the way you have as well. You know, I think about when Man United lost Cantona, and that wasn't to an injury; it was to suspension. We didn't go on to win the league that year, but it was the final day of the season we missed out on it. We carried on going until the end. Why? Because we had a very good squad. So we didn't just lose Cantona and then suddenly fall 10, 15, 20 points off the top. So listen, that's what I'm saying. You've got to go out in January and buy, and Pep's got to find solutions for it. I think that's absolutely right. Super chat here says, if it wasn't for the 3 red cards that no other team has seen yet, we may have been 3 points behind or level. Banter aside, be honest.
Are we still complaining about this? Is this Arsenal 3 red cards? Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah, must be. No one else had them.
Oh man, Dear me, this is crazy. We're still complaining about this. Like, big up to you, Nathan, but let's move past that, man. Come on. Like, let's just move past that. We haven't been good enough this season, even without the red cards. Yeah, because let's just be real. We didn't get a red card against Newcastle, and we dropped points there. We didn't get a red card against Liverpool. We dropped points there. Let's just move on, man. Like, real talk. Like, I'm so bored of it now. We're still moaning about red cards here. Come on, man. Stop crying about it. Get on with it. Like, we got to deal with it. I've got players back now. Got no suspensions. Let's go on a run. We've got winnable games now, Arsenal. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll come on to Arsenal in a minute, but we've got winnable games. Let's go win them. Let's not worry about injuries, suspensions, and referees, man. It's just, come on, we're better than this.
On Arsenal, do you feel like Arsenal fans are taking Liverpool seriously enough yet?
I don't think they are. Well, I think some of them are. I don't think we are in general, though, as a fan base.
Are you?
Absolutely. I always had them in a, you know, I did. I always had them because some people put them like 5th, 7th, 6th this season. I was like, what? I've got to be real. I put them 3rd. I thought they'd become 3rd. I thought it would be Arsenal and City going for it, and I thought they'd come 3rd because of Slot trying to replace Klopp. I think he has been superb. And I'll do this in twos. I'll do this in Liverpool and what I've seen from Arsenal, what I've seen from Liverpool. I think a lot of Arsenal fans are quite jealous of Liverpool. They just don't want to say it. I think they're jealous. Now, they might not be jealous come May. We'll see, right? But I think they are where we want to be and where I think a lot of Arsenal fans expected us to be if City would have had this downfall, right? City have fallen off and they're still above us. City have fallen off and Liverpool where we want to be. And it is not a good look. And Arsenal fans are looking at every excuse they can, referees, red cards, suspensions, injuries, as much as they can to try and excuse it. When really, Mikel Arteta's got to hold a massive L. And so have our board because the summer weren't good enough. So I think we should take Liverpool seriously. The biggest compliment I can give Slot is he looks calm, he looks composed, he looks relaxed. He doesn't look stressed out. He doesn't look like he's going to pull whatever hair's left of his head that he can out. He looks really chill on the sideline. And I think that is a big, big compliment. I also think it's a big compliment that he's come in and there's been no lack of identity at Liverpool from what Klopp left. And if I'm honest with you, I think Liverpool look more relaxed and calm. I think when you look at the intensity and the aggression of what Klopp did going forward, it was great to watch. And certainly for the neutral it was. But there was always the kind of opportunity or potential for them to definitely, concede or drop some points under Klopp. I think at the moment, Liverpool are just doing their job. And do you know what's even really worrying, lads? I don't even think they've really got going yet. I don't look at Liverpool and go, whoa, blistering, scintillating. No one's stopping them. We played them in the Emirates. They were all right. They were all right. We weren't great. We had no team at the time. They were all right. But let's be real, we should have beaten them. So I look at Liverpool, Southampton against them. Liverpool weren't great. If it weren't for that goalkeeper, by the way, I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was on drugs running out like that. If it weren't for him running out, they don't win that game. So Liverpool have definitely looked like they could drop some points. But the other compliment I've got to give to Slot is, right, he's looked at this Liverpool side that fair enough, Klopp has left behind and it's a fantastic squad of players. But he's looked at it and he hasn't really needed to do much with Salah and Trent and Van Dijk and these guys. He's looked at them and he's thought, right, I'm not going to touch them. I'm going to try and get 15, 20% out of some of these other players that I know have got some ability, but definitely need to improve. Because with that, what we'll see is the improvements of people like Salah and Trent and Van Dijk. And that's what he's done with Konate. That's what he's done with Curtis Jones. No one saw Gravenberch in the 6, but he's been phenomenal there. Luis Diaz has come back into form playing on the left. Gakpo has come into form playing on the left. He's even got Tsimikas and Robertson playing okay at left back, which is a position I thought they needed to look at. Even Kelleher's come in. So I look at what he's done with some of those players now, and I just think you need to take your hat off and go, well played. Now, will it continue? I hope, and Lil B hopes it don't. I hope it crumbles and it goes wrong. But at the moment, it doesn't look like that. And the way they're playing is superb. Now, I think Arsenal fans need to look at Liverpool and start respecting it. And I think what they're doing, Arsenal fans, is they're looking at it and going, that won't last. That will fall off. They'll go through 4 or 5 losses. I'm not sure that they will. And we need them to. And then what we need to do is we need to, on top of that, go on a run. Now, it's looking quite good fixture-wise for Arsenal right now. We can go on a run, for sure. We should be beating the teams that we're about to be playing. But I can't sit there and tell you that we're not going to drop points between now and the 1st of January. Because trust me, the way we've been playing, you just don't know that there's consistency that we're going to go on this run. But Liverpool at the moment are ticking away. And the amount of people I keep seeing and hearing that haven't really been tested yet. They've played Arsenal at the Emirates. They've had Chelsea at home. They've had Manchester United, which, let's be real, I know you haven't been great till, but it's different for Liverpool playing Man United than it is for us. I
get that.
So Liverpool have had some tests. They've gone to Bayer Leverkusen. They've had AC Milan. They've got Real Madrid tomorrow night. They have had tests and they've got through them. And they, at the moment, and they've gone to Villa, by the way, and they've beaten Villa. So let's just be real. Like, Liverpool have been tested. Liverpool have been good. Liverpool are in a title race. And in my opinion, right now, I think there's a potential for Liverpool to actually have it in their hands right now, and they could have to potentially throw it away. It's theirs to lose, as they say, right? And I know it's early days, but when you're 9 points ahead of us and you're 8 points ahead of City, and you could potentially go 11 points by it, that is absolutely insane this early on. Liverpool, you got to respect them, man. Arsenal fans have got to respect them, and I don't know why they're not. It's bizarre. It really is.
The only way they don't win the league for me is if they get a serious injury to Van Dijk or Salah. They keep them too fit.
I mean, they are the clear favourites now, and I know they don't want it. As Sam keeps pushing out this notion of, we're a leopard in a tree. I don't kind of understand that analogy.
They don't have the chest, man. You know what I mean? They go on like they're this big club. Oh, the biggest club in England. They love that. You have to get this all the time. We're the biggest club in England, right? Which, by the way, there's a legitimate argument that they are because they've won 6 Champions Leagues, whereas United have only won 3, right? So there's a legit. And then when they can go 11 points above us on Sunday, right? They don't have the chest. Get the chest out, man.
Do you know
I know
what?
we've done serious damage to them, over the years, through our title races, and they ain't got the chest to say it, lads, But we're a wounded animal, mate, You got the chance to kill us on Sunday.
They must have a chest if they beat you. If they beat you and they still don't have chest, come on, man.
Some of them don't have chest, I agree. But what some of them also, like Liverpool, love a Disney story. They love to sort of they love being this massive club, but they also like to tell stories like they're this minnow that's gone against the odds and broken down walls. Everything's, it was an underdog story. It was against. I've got Liverpool fans now that literally say to me, Terry, why are you praising us when all summer you slagged us off? I was like, bruv, I've got the screenshots of your comments. When I was saying you were going to be in a title race, you told me to shut up because you were nowhere near it. They always try and play down praise so that when they achieve, they can go, no one saw it coming. Therefore, it's the most special title. Therefore, it's the best ever. It's weird. It's weird. It's very weird to me. But there we go. I said banter aside, and you went straight to banter. It's ain't an excuse. It was just a question. No one is crying. Chill.
I ain't bantering. I haven't gone straight to banter. I'm talking facts. We can't blame red cards and injuries and suspensions on why we have not gone clear of Man City.
Chill out, Potsy, man. The guy sends a super chat in, having a bit of
chill.
So miserable. Arsenal fans are, I would say, at the top 6 right now. Arsenal fans, as much as City are in pain, Arsenal fans are definitely the most miserable at the moment.
Of course. We are, man.
What, you think they're more miserable than us, even though we've lost 5 games in a row?
Yeah, you lot are sort
of like... because Man City, they've got... You know what Man City do, man.
You know it's like this, right? City fans are like those blokes. City fans are like those Wall Street bankers who have been made redundant, right? But they've got a massive payout on the way, so you're going to be fine. You know, at some point you're going to be okay.
Yeah, but Terry, I miss my colleagues. I miss the workplace environment. You know what
I mean? Why haven't we seen the second yellow card except for Arsenal? Oh, for the delay and a restart.
No one else does it apart from Arsenal fans. How big's your notebook, Dan? Every time a referee makes a decision. Bloody hell, you must be on what, page 500 by now? Come on, man.
I've actually got a Word document with all the things, referees' mistakes that I notice in games. It's like 19 pages long this season. But mine ain't about Arsenal. Mine's in general.
Yeah, there's definitely been bad inconsistencies of referees. But when you're looking at the ref, it means you ain't played well. Trust me, the referees have been shocking all season. In the games that we've played and won, Arsenal fans haven't moaned about them once. When we draw or lose, Arsenal fans come out like the ref was bad.
I'm different. I moan about the referees even when a team wins because I've got a real. Did you guys see what Dermot Gallagher said yesterday about there was a penalty decision? It's so hard, right? I said it in my video. Liverpool fans, this isn't about saying you should have conceded a penalty or shouldn't. You've done nothing wrong. Please don't get tribalistic. You know the penalty that Southampton could have got where Kelleher took out Armstrong? Dermot Gallagher just lied and said, no, the referee blew his whistle before the contact because of the foul of Armstrong pulling on Conor Bradley's shirt. When you watch it back and they're showing it him in slow-mo and he's still lying. Armstrong only grabs the shirt of Conor Bradley after the goalies took him out so he doesn't crash his face on the floor. And the referee blows the whistle sort of 3 seconds afterwards. But Dermot Gallagher was lying, saying no, he blew the whistle before the foul. And it's just the lies that come out of their mouths is unbelievable. This year says Dan and I ain't seen us win the league in HDTV. Wow.
Right, bro, I've seen it in person. I've seen it 4K. Yeah. I've seen it Blu-ray. Yeah, I've seen it all editions, mate. Yeah.
You're gonna see it there? You're gonna see that this year?
Well, yeah, I've still got the DVD. I've still got
to rewatch it. Yeah.
You're a very lucky City fan as well, because if it goes the way we all want it to, not only are you gonna see the sort of the treble and the 4P in 4K, you're also going to see League 2 football in 4K as well. And most of your age group haven't seen that. So you're going to get the full spectrum and experience.
I will still win the Premier League before Arsenal. So I don't care. You know what I mean?
LB, you might not even have a club soon. You will find another club. Will you find another club or support City in League 2?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll have to go City in League 2. I mean, we'll have to do it. I say, if we get to League 2, I will relish the challenge of getting promoted to League 1, Championship, Premier League, and then winning the Premier League before some other clubs that are still in the Premier League. And by the way, you all know that will happen at some point. So that's a challenge to you guys in the league to make sure you're not one of those clubs, in the top 6 that doesn't win the league before we're back.
It's like a FIFA challenge, isn't it?
We'll do it, man.
It's like those FIFA challenges where you start 3-0 down. Can you win the game and stuff like that? It's almost like a City go to League 2. Can you win the league before Man United from that point, or before Arsenal from that point? It's a good challenge.
Which Premier League team would you support, LB, in those years? What Premier League team would you support? Obviously, I want to pick one.
What team I support?
West Ham.
I'm forever blowing bubble. A great win for us last night, by the way. What a win, man. Honestly, Jared Bowen last night. Wow, what a performance from him. Get him in the England side. This guy's better than Saka he is, by the way.
But do it in a Cockney accent.
I knew he was going to say it.
Do it in a Cockney accent.
Nah.
Come on, bro. Give it a go. Give it a go.
I'm even wearing the West Ham colours.
I can see the claret.
West Ham shirt, but you know what I mean. A little bit too soon. Let me get relegated.
If we think about this completely, lads, Slot is still new to the Premier League. People said he's going to fall off, but isn't it more logical to think he'll improve since he's still learning?
Well, he will improve. The problem that you've got is that Trent is out of contract, and I reckon he's off to Madrid. Salah is not looking good, and I don't know what Liverpool are playing at that, by the way. And Van Dijk is also out of contract. So if all 3 of those players leave, which factually at this moment in time they are all leaving because they've not signed a contract, then Liverpool will get worse next year. And by the way, I don't know if we're going to come on to Liverpool, but I just want to say this real quick. Liverpool are an absolute disgrace. What they're doing, not giving Salah the contract.
Yeah, I agree.
Jamie Carragher, by the way, what are you chatting about, mate? Why is Jamie? Do you see this? Jamie Carragher saying he's disappointed in Mo Salah. What are you talking about? He's literally coming out here trying to put pressure on the club to give him a contract. I said it last week on last week's show. I don't think Salah wants to leave. Sorry, I don't know if we're going on to Liverpool at some point.
Yeah, great segue. Keep going.
No, I just think for me, I just think that like Salah is, you take Salah out of the team, and it's like they're no longer like a mint team. They're just a good side. And I don't know why, when you have a player like Salah, you give him the contract. You don't risk, because what they're doing is they don't want to give him a big contract in case he just dies off next year because of his age. But are you seriously going to play chicken with this guy then? What about if you don't give him the contract and he's mint for another 3 or 4 years? And by the way, if you let him leave, what about if he joins City? What about if he joins Real Madrid or Barcelona or something like that?
Man United.
Well, bro, he could do anything. He's out of contract. I think personally, what Liverpool are doing is an absolute joke. And the fans need to be calling this out. People like Jamie Carragher, are just like, mate, I don't know what he's chatting. Absolute load of rubbish. I don't know whether he's got like some sort of gig with Liverpool and he's got to like PR the narrative of the club. I don't know, but what he's chatting there is nonsense. This is, I think, I agree with the debate that's going on. I think Salah is the best right winger in the Premier League. In Premier League history, being my Premier League 11, right? So why you wouldn't just give him the contract, mate? People might go on about aesthetics or the way he plays football or whatever. Mate, the guy gets like 35, 40 G&A a year. He's an output merchant. Is he the most technical player in the world? No. Mahrez was miles more technical as a player. He's a better footballer, in my opinion. But Salah got you 40 G&A every single season. And the guy never gets injured. And by the way, the fact that he's very rarely been injured means that he'll prolong his career. Because that's what you see a lot with players when they get loads of injuries over the career, that brings their career shorter. Salah's hardly had any injuries, man. So for me, I don't know what they're playing at. And if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be absolutely fuming.
I also think as well, like Salah is actually quite disrespected as a footballer in the Premier League. I think.
Yeah, he is.
I don't really understand what more he has to do for people to appreciate it. Like even LB's just said he bigs him up, but maybe he's not the best of footballers at times. I don't know what he's not good at, if I'm honest. I mean, he's great at dribbling, he's great at driving forward, he's superb at finishing. He takes penalties, he takes on players, he takes it round players. I don't know what more he's got to do. I think the guy is phenomenal, and I think this season he's been the best Premier League player by quite some way. And if Liverpool do not offer him a contract, it is an outright disgrace. If these players leave on a free, it's criminal, by the way. Trent going to Real Madrid on a free at 25 years old. Like, how much money could they get if they sold these three players, Terry? Honestly, how much money?
Even now, at
I think Trent, you're looking at about 70 mil. Van Dijk, how old is he? 33? Probably going to get 35. And then Salah. The problem with Salah is he got goals. I think you can get 50, 60 mil for him.
Yeah, you're talking again. You're talking you're getting towards 200 million for the three of them. You're pushing towards between 150 and 200 million for the three of them. I agree with what you boys have said. And look, when it comes to the Mo Salah debate, I think he's the one thing I would say. I saw David Beckham get dragged into this today, and I do feel like we have to almost date cap these teams because football's changed. David Beckham wouldn't have played as an inside forward or a right winger in this era. He'd have been the midfielder. So comparing them in terms of outputs is crazy. He might have even been a right back in this era, David Beckham. Genuinely could have been a modern day right back. But in terms of, if you look at the last sort of 15 or so years, if you break the Premier League up into sort of 15-year periods, I think it's fair to say in this last 15 years, I don't think there's been a winger in the last 15 years or a forward in the last 15 years that I would put in the team ahead of Mo Salah. And so he'd be my first pick because of his consistency. You probably then look, some would pick Harry Kane. I'd probably personally, I know he's been a shorter time, I'd go with Haaland for the records he's broke. And then on the left, probably Hazard, maybe Gareth Bale. I'd have to check the dates of when they were here, right? If I'm splitting it into those sectors. But anyway, they are disrespecting him. And I thought what Jamie Carragher said and did was just strange. Yes, it's going to create some questions for Arne Slot, but then Arne Slot then needs to do what Mo Salah has done and go, I can understand the player's frustration. I want him to stay. Hopefully a resolution is found. I think he's doing Arne Slot a favor. No one, we all know nowadays. I know there's been big debates in the last few days especially on TalkSport, around what a head coach is or a manager is. And Simon Jordan actually did a really good piece on this today where he basically said it's almost semantics. They have a say in transfers. They have a say in new contracts, but they don't make the final decision. None of them do now in the same way that they used to many years ago. They'll be given a list of players they can sign and pick up the list, but they can't choose that list. They can say they want a player to get a new deal, but they can't actually sign the new player's contract. The money men at the top have to. So I think that Mo Salah has done Arne Slot a favor in the way he's called this out because they've got to keep him. I think genuinely.
Do you think all three of them want to stay, Tel? Do you think the three of them want to stay at Liverpool?
Not Trent. Trent wants to go.
I think Trent wants to go and try something new. I think Trent wants to try something different, if I'm being honest, just the gut feeling I get. But when it comes to Mo Salah, not only is he in the conversation of Premier League GOATs, he's Liverpool's greatest ever attacker in the Premier League era. Suarez is amazing. Well, he's the greatest ever player. And this is the thing. This is why it's so important to keep him. 30 plus years the Premier League has been going. And this is the best attacker, most consistent attacker, best and most consistent with the most longevity Liverpool have had in that era. The likelihood of his replacement, whether it's a centre forward for the goals or a right wing, is irrelevant. The likelihood of his replacement being as good, as consistent, or better is so low because in 30 years he is your best. You've got to do everything you can to keep him at the club because at some point it'll be gone. Retirement, too old, whatever it may be. it's so hard to replace greatness. You can't just let it go. And this is why when you look at the great Liverpool teams of the 70s, you look at Arsenal's best team under Wenger, even City are going through it now. Some of your greatest ever players in your club's history leave or they're injured. Replacing them is almost impossible. I don't know if you may never get a midfielder as good as KDB again in the next 30, 40 years. Not because you won't try, but the players of that level are finite. They're so rare. You have to keep them for as long as possible. And I keep seeing Liverpool fans, we'll give him a 3-year deal when he dies and falls off. What signs has he shown of falling off? None. You saw him take his shirt off the other day, and I don't mean any sort of no diddy here. That man's body is he doesn't look like showing any. It isn't like, listen, Casemiro came back from pre-season. He looked like a boss man. Do you know what I mean? There's a bit of a double chin. He looked that way. You could tell, he's aging out a bit. Mo Salah looks immaculate, especially now he's had the hair transplant. He looks even better. They're crazy, genuinely crazy. I mean that. Like they're mad. Liverpool, and their fans should be fuming.
But
speaking,
the thing is, just quick point on this, yeah. So he's out of contract, right? Say he wants a 3-year contract. It'd be 33 in the summer, so that'll take him to 36, right? Yeah. So all you really have to hope is that he just doesn't fall off next year, right? Because then he'll go to 34, because that's maths, isn't it? You know what I mean? And then at 34, 35, you're then starting to expect him to decline a little bit. But you're going to get a good 18 months out of him, in my opinion, before he really significantly drops. And he's still going to get you goals. I mean, come on, man. He's got 16 G&A this year. He's got 20. He's got 22 goals and assists already. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? Just give him the contract, man. You ain't going to replace his goals. We let Mahrez go, yeah? And we never replaced his goals. We never replaced him. And it's costing us. We let Sterling go. Never replaced his goals. Now, football's not all about G&A. It's not. But you do need goals and you do need players to create to win matches. And I think if Liverpool let him go, especially while they don't have a prolific forward, yeah, maybe if they bought like a big dog striker, like a Gyökeres, a Osimhen, and they start banging in 20, 30 goals a season, they could go, you know what, fair enough. But whilst they've got players like Gakpo and Jota who never stays fit, too much of a risk. Give him a deal, man.
Absolutely. 40-year-old Virgil here says, Terry, Amorim says transfers start and end with him. Your theory is kind of out the window. No, it isn't. It fits completely with what Man United have briefed everybody. The manager selects what positions he wants filled and can give suggestions. The Man United board and decision makers put together a short list of players who meet the criteria, and then Amorim picks off that list which one he wants. Nothing in my narrative has changed at all. So that is starting and ending with Amorim within that structure. But this is the thing. Amorim isn't going to be out there picking all his own players. When's Amorim got the time to travel around the world scouting all these players, watching all their games? When's he doing it? When's he sitting in the... When's he got the time to sit in the negotiation room with the agents all throughout January, all throughout the summer? He ain't doing it. The managers and head coaches don't do that job. Why can't... I'm going to sound really horrible now, and I don't care. When a football fan's going to get this into their thick fucking skulls, that the managers and head coaches don't do that job anymore and haven't done that job for the best part of 30 fucking years. Jesus Christ the Lord. People keep trying to catch me out with it. You ain't going to catch me out with it. It's how football's run. Fuck me sideways. Oh, we'll move on from that. I've got a video to play because it annoys me. It's not, do you know what it is? It's not my theory. It's literally how City tell us their structure and operate, right? Oh, am I making that up? Right? It's how they all the clubs tell us this is how they operate. We repeat, this is how clubs operate. People go, no, they don't. Yes, they fucking do. Jesus Christ. Of course, and we can get into the nitpicking of, well, the manager gets a say here and he gets, Arteta's getting a say in who comes in to be the new footballing director. Yes, of course he's going to get a say. Because imagine they hire someone and then that Arteta knows nothing about, and then Arteta's like, oh yeah, me and him have been enemies for 10 years. Of course he has to have an input, so they hire someone that is conducive to work with him. But Mikel Arteta isn't going to be picking who his fucking boss is. Wake the fuck up! Oh my God!
Wow.
Is that enough? Is that enough, mate? Is that enough?
It's so annoying. It's so annoying that honestly, it is crazy. It's like when people talk about net spend. Fuck off! It ain't real. It ain't. No club uses it. Dickheads. Stop listening to the sun.
You need to hydrate, Tel. You know what I mean? You see that vein coming through your head, man. You know what I mean?
Right. I am rattled. I am legitimately rattled. Anyway, I'm playing a video for you. I want to see if you agree with him.
Look, we're as close in points to Everton as we are Liverpool.
You're not massive on the ownership, right?
No, I hate them. No, I detest everything about it. The worst thing to have ever happened to Chelsea Football Club. Like, I really hate them.
Okay. Can you tell me why?
Yeah, absolutely. We're passionately and happily. Yeah, I certainly will. I don't think they have the best interests of Chelsea at heart. I don't think they have any interest in
pure business
the club.
model.
It's pure business. It's sort of disgraceful business.
Yeah.
You look at the way that they're ripping off the fans. You look at the way that if you think about the way that they've treated some of the like Chelsea kids, Conor Gallagher is a good example.
Yeah.
Trevor Chalobah is a good example. I agree. So no, I have absolutely no love for the way that they're doing it. Of course, on some level, you have to concede that it's working because we're third in the league.
Yes.
But we've got 4 points more this season than we had last season.
Mm-hmm.
And last season was seen as 4 points. Look, it's part of the reason that we're third is because Postecoglou is, in my opinion, right for a sacking.
Yeah.
I think Postecoglou's getting it so wrong and nobody really likes to talk about it because they like him. Arsenal are having a nightmare. Like, we shouldn't be above Arsenal. The reason that we're third is because Arsenal have gone to pot.
Yeah.
Wowza. I can't believe what I've just heard. I've not heard that, but that is wild. That is absolutely insane for me. He's trying. Does he support Chelsea or what? Like, what's he trying to say here? Like, listen, I've criticised Chelsea plenty of times on this show, plenty of times, so much so that their fans get rattled and DM me. But like, you've got to look at Chelsea. Look at the way they're playing. Right, they're third in the league. They're a point behind us. Yeah, they're on course for the targets, their objectives. I think if you would have said to what their objectives this season, right, to get Champions League football and win some trophies, win some silverware. Right. Well, they're gonna. Let's be honest. They're gonna win that Conference League with ease. Yeah, they'll probably win that with the reserves. Yeah, they go and try and give it a good go in the FA Cup. Yeah, Jackson's massively improved. They've still got a massive issue at the back with Sanchez, but I'm sure they'll resolve that in January or the summer. Like, he's doing a decent job, man. Like, fair enough. I just don't really understand what he's. Listen, he's got some problem with the owners, fair dues, but it seems like he's not just got a problem with the owners. He's got a problem with what? Where they're playing, the fact that they're third, and then try to say, well, we're only third because Arsenal, blah blah blah, and Tottenham, blah blah blah. The league is what the league is. I'd be first if Liverpool weren't going on a madness. So can I flip it and say, oh well, actually, all's not that bad at Manchester City, even though we've lost 5 games in a row, because Liverpool shouldn't be first because they've got a new manager and they should never be first. That'd be ridiculous. Because he said it the other way around. It sounds good. I don't know, man. I don't really understand what he's saying. Listen, I agree with him on the owners. I think the owners have absolutely been horrific. I think some of the way that they've approached this is bad. But I think that they're trying to rectify it. There's a whole thing about the business thing. I don't know anything about that. I don't know about the fans. I don't know what they do with the tickets, merch, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but on the pitch, showing signs of improvement. You know, Caicedo now is by far the best DM in the league when Rodri's not here. By far, he looks amazing. Jackson's massively improved. Palmer is still going to be cooking. Lavia is starting to find some rhythm. You know, I just don't see what the hatred is. Yeah, they still need maybe another transfer window, maybe 2, but I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. Yeah, the owners are bad, but that's OTT for me. Go and win an FA Cup, go and win the Conference League next year, have a title challenge. I think that's what they're on course for.
I'm not going to say I disagree with LB, but I think what Rory has done there is he's gone in on the ownership, and I don't think he's wrong so far. Could be in May. Chelsea get top 4, win the Conference League and win an FA Cup, then it could be like, well, the ownership have done what they needed to spend money to get them winning again. But right now, it has been a bit of a mess, like LB says, the ownership. I do agree with LB and to say that the players definitely got better, though. I think Enzo Maresca has done very well so far. I think they've had a structure. However, when you look at what Rory's saying, he's kind of right with the Arsenal and City situation. Like, Chelsea are happy right now. Arsenal and City fans aren't. So that tells you where we're kind of at. They're like, wow, we're near Arsenal. Oh my God. Well, that's like, you've fallen off then, because Chelsea should be winning stuff with what they spend and where they are as a club. Like, in the last 2 decades, they've won more than anybody.
Yeah, but they will win a trophy this year.
Say again?
They will win a trophy this year. They'll win that conference.
Well, they'll win that Conference League, yeah. Well, I imagine they will, yeah. But in terms of where they are in the league right now, they are doing well and we are doing pretty poor. So that's why they're near us. So I kind of agree with Rory in there to say that the only reason we are where we are is, and people are getting excited is because Arsenal and City have dropped off and not been that great.
You can't say that though, Potsy. You can't just say.
No, but he's keeping it real with where Chelsea are at, isn't he? He's going, I'm not getting excited yet. I think we're doing
excited, but like it just sounds like he's just like, crapping on the team.
But he's really come to the ownership more, hasn't he? He's not really said, "Oh, we're playing awful. This is terrible. I can't believe what I'm watching. It's a shambles."
No, but then comments all about we're only third because Spurs are bad and Arsenal are bad.
Yeah, and look, when he says they're only 4 points better off than lot, no, I understand that, but sometimes they're still 4 points better off than they were last year, which means a quarter of the way through the season, or just over a quarter of the way, if they maintain that throughout the rest of the campaign, they're 12 points better off. And I mean, that's a significant improvement, being 12 points better than they were. They had 12 more points last season. I swear they'd have made the Champions League. They could have even come third last year. And so, I think they are improving. I get what he's saying about the ownership. He's from that.
I agree. Yeah.
He's from that percentage of Chelsea fans who kind of wants owners that are all about the club. I think whenever you get bought or invested into by venture capitalists, there's a logical thing to say, well, they want to make a profit from us in the future because they're investing for a reason. That is to sell you for more money than they bought you for. It's not a dig, it's a fact. But where I disagree with him is this. For them to make a profit, they've got to get Chelsea back to winning. They've got to make Chelsea a bigger, more successful and more popular team than they were when they took over. Otherwise, other than the land that they own, which is very lucrative in West London, they will lose a lot of value. They won't be as attractive. People don't just buy a football club because of what the land it sits on is worth. It's about the brand. It's about the icon element of the football club. So the one thing I would say where I think he's wrong is that, yes, they may care about selling it in 10, 15 years for profit. But to do that, they have to make you successful on the football pitch. And as long as they're making you successful on the football pitch, that should be a really important element. I understand he was very disappointed with the idea of leaving Stamford Bridge due to I think it was Peter Osgood, who I didn't realize was buried with ashes, which means he is buried underneath the penalty spot in the shed end. I understand there's a percentage of fans who are very attached to their Stamford Bridge and their ground in that way. But to say that I don't like this narrative, where I completely disagree with him, this narrative of fake league positions. When Man United came second under Ollie, that wasn't a fake position. That wasn't I just don't believe in it. That season, we were the second best team in England, whether people like it or not. We were nowhere near a title race, but we still were the second best team in England that year. I just don't buy into this. It's a fake position of this team fell off. So therefore, where we are.
I agree with that. I agree with that. It's not a fake position because you're in the position the league table don't lie. What I will say is, I think where perhaps I've listened to it differently to you guys is that I think he said, yeah, like we're all good at the moment, but I'm not getting carried away. That's the way I've listened to that. But if I've listened to that wrong, then fair play. He definitely don't like the owners, and I can understand why. I think in the last couple of years it's been a shambles. They've definitely got a little bit better. And I think when you look at the manager they've appointed, he's definitely better than what Poch had done with this team. I think Chelsea are 2 or 3 players away from going for a title. But I think where Chelsea have fallen so far is they were winning Champions Leagues and titles and they were being competitive. Now they're not. They need to remember where to get to now. It can't be like, this is brilliant what I'm seeing at Chelsea. I'm so happy here being sitting in 5th.
No, I agree. I agree.
That's where I'm at with what Rory was saying. I think he's like, let's just calm down a minute. We're still not where we want to be. That's how I interpreted that. But maybe he's gone over the top with the ownership or whatever it be. But, you know, you're not fake positions. You are where you are. And I think you deserve to be where you are.
I agree with them. I don't think the Chelsea fans... I wrote a little article. I don't really write a lot, but I wrote an article yesterday and someone called me out for a passage in it where I said that Man United fans have got, with our new owners and with Amorim, need to have really high standards and patience. And he responded with, but it's impossible in life to have high standards and patience at the same time. It's either one or the other. And it made me laugh a little bit because I thought, please don't tell me we're believing that in society now, that they're mutually exclusive of each other. You can have high standards, but zero patience. And I'm sitting there as someone that's worked for, you know, some of the biggest companies in the world. I run my own businesses. I'm bringing up my children. I've trained dogs. I've been an athlete. I've done a number of things in my 38 years on this earth. And to say that you can't have high standards and patience at the same time is, I'm going to say it in a very blunt way. It is absolutely fucking mental to think about life in that way. It is. Of course, you can have high standards and patience. It depends upon your starting position. I think that City fans should have less patience than Man United fans currently with how quick it should be to turn their team's fortunes around. City's fix should be much faster than Man United's. Better manager, much better squad, in a better position, a well-oiled machine, compared to 11 years of decay and failure and trying to rebuild from that position again. But we can both have the same standards. There just needs to be a different level of patience or time that you put on it. And I think that that's all Chelsea fans have got to do. Maintain a desire to get back to the very top, but understand, listen, I know they won that Champions League, but every Chelsea fan I've ever spoken to worth their salt will tell you they were struggling to compete for a league title for a number of years. This isn't just 2 years of not competing for a league title. It's about 7. And you can't just turn that oil tanker around. It's going to take time. So I get elements of what Rory said, but overall, they're moving in the right direction. They're getting back towards their best. The only thing they can't do, which I agree with 100% with you on Potsy, is they can't just go, oh, we're top 4 again. Now we're fine. We don't have to put any pressure on our owners.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm
at. On their neck. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that element. But I saw that comment they do in the rounds, and there's a lot of Chelsea fans that are angry with. For some reason,
Rory does not. He rattles a lot of people. Rory,
they do seem to get a little wound up by him. They do. This here says, name a club that went through what Chelsea went through and is still in existence. What do you mean?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
So name a club that had a billionaire owner that then got taken over by another billionaire that's still in existence.
I feel sorry for him. I feel terrible for him.
They spent 1.5 billion quid, bro. Nah, he must mean something else, man. No, there's no way.
He must mean something, man. Feel sorry for Bury, who are now no longer a club. Don't feel sorry for Chelsea, dear me. Oh my word, unbelievable, isn't
it? The only reason Rory is angry at Chelsea is because he was not hired as part of the Chelsea media team. Really? I'm going to be blunt with you though. I swear the companies he works for pay more money than Chelsea's media team. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if he's to hear. I hope you're well to hear, by the way. Long time no see, brother. I hope you're well. Rory Jennings makes money from trashing his club. It's interesting, though, because I don't think Rory will see it as him trashing his club. I think what Rory thinks he's doing is protecting what he believes to be the true soul and nature of his football club. Doesn't mean he's right. Doesn't mean I agree with him. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
I disagree with that. I don't think he's making money from trashing his club. I think he's giving his opinion, which some people don't like, and then people just get really emotional about it. That's what it is.
You see that all the time. You know, I mean, you're part of AFTV. The amount of people that have accused Robbie, have accused Lee Gunner, have accused these guys, you're making money off your team failing. I've always disagreed with that notion. No, you're giving an honest opinion about how you don't have to agree with that person's opinion, but they're giving an honest opinion about how they feel. And I think 99.9% of content creators and YouTubers just speak how we truly feel. I don't think we sit backstage and talk, and never do we sit there and go, right, guys, today, Potsy, I need you to have this opinion. And LB, I've got to say this today for the show, please. Like, it's just, I don't know about you boys. I've never been anywhere where that conversation has took place. No, so, yeah.
And if it was, I'd leave if that was what it was.
Yeah, same. Got taken over by the government. Almost got you didn't almost get disbanded. You always
the government were never going to let Chelsea go bust, man. Come on.
No, they weren't going to do that.
They weren't going to do that, bro. They waited, and then waited for you to get a billionaire to take you over, and then let them spend on 1.5 bill. Like, the government were never going to let Chelsea go bust. They just
If they nationalised you and they made it so that Theresa May was running you, then I would feel sorry for you, but that didn't happen. His big arguments take was also atrocious.
I think he means Big Ange, does he not?
Oh, his Big Ange take, yeah. Not argument.
What did he say about Big Ange?
Well,
he was unstackable. Well, to be fair, if you spoke to Spurs fan, maybe not after this weekend, but if you spoke to Spurs, a lot of Spurs fans were saying he is in that territory. So I don't think that was atrocious take, really. To be fair.
No, I hear that. This here says Salah, GA merchant, world class attacking mid. Huh? How can you be a GA merchant and world class? That seems a little oxymoronic to me. Why did you bring that clown Rory? Why not? This here from Nazir. Hope you're well. He says Carragher is a disgrace. It will take 100 million to replace Salah's output. He deserves a 2-year minimum contract. FSG model means they can't buy a ready-made replacement. Trent is gone, but we need to keep the other two.
Spot on.
I agree. And Trent's more replaceable. than Salah's goals. Goals are the hardest thing in football.
I'd actually argue that he's priceless, because you tell me a right winger will football that gets the same output and has the same effect on Liverpool other than Mo Salah. Is there a right winger? Is there a right winger out there? Yeah, and don't say Saka. Yeah, don't say that. I mean, who? There's no one out there.
Who's the best like for like replacement? Would it be Bukayo Saka? And do you think
it
Liverpool
probably would be Saka? I actually said years ago that Liverpool should have cashed in on Salah and got Saka at the time. But it's too late now, because Salah, you're not going to get more than what? He's out of contract, so you're not getting any money for him now. And Arsenal not going to sell Saka, and even if they did, they probably want about 150, 200 mil. So that's the problem. It's too late now. So I don't think there's anyone out there. I don't get a Cole Palmer.
Yeah, they're going to have to just get a good right winger. I think they're going to have to try and find a. See, I think what they might have to look at doing is go after someone like a Gyökeres, who could be a prolific goal scorer through the centre, and then buy a decent creator. I don't think they can look for. Man United made this mistake when Roy Keane left, where we looked for 2 or 3 summers for a like-for-like replacement, and we tried Jemba, and we tried Liam Miller, God rest his soul. He's passed now, the young man. It didn't work. And then we went for a Michael Carrick, who was a different type of player, and it worked. And I think that's what Liverpool might need to also do. Ronin here says, 2nd of November, you sound triggered. 26, bruv. Unless I'm mistaken. That date is 26th of November.
What's happening?
Yeah,
2nd in November.
2nd in November, you sound triggered. I think he was talking to what's his name? LB earlier. I just missed it. It's just come up now. But there we go. That's why clubs have something called scouts.
Yeah, but bro, the thing is, well, what's this in relation? Is this in relation to Saka replacement?
I'm not too sure. This one came about 20 minutes ago. What were we talking about 20 minutes ago?
This is to do with your rant, Tel, about how it's up to Amorim to pick.
Don't trigger him again, man. Don't trigger him
again.
Again, but all of our clubs, predominant Man United have got it wrong each time. But at City, and as an example, their scouting network is based on the football ideology the club has. Again, the manager can have an input and a say on who they should also bring in, but ultimately the sporting director is in charge. If we beat City, it's ours to lose 100%. I don't care. 100%. Thank you for having some chest. Speaking of transfers, this one come out today. Evan Ferguson is going to be available on loan in January.
Yeah, I just don't get this lad. I'm hearing great things about him, but he can't get in the Brighton team. Like, if he was that great, surely he would be getting ahead of Danny Welbeck. But
Gyökeres couldn't get in the Brighton team.
That's true. But, but at least now he's gone and delivered in a couple of other leagues. I'm not sure with Ferguson. I'm not sure.
I hear you, mate. Speaking of Arsenal, how do you think you'll get on tonight against Sporting Lisbon, City's conquerors in the last Champions League round? Sorry,
well, I hope we beat them, because then it's even funnier with the City thing. Now, look, I think it's going to be tough, man. I really do. And we've not got a good record in Europe away from home, but we played really well at the weekend. So I hope we can take some positives from that into this game. I do think it was a really good way of playing. I just really hope that we don't go back to playing this awful football of just lumping balls into the box. I really don't, because it was great to see at the weekend that we actually went through some attacking football. I think it will be tough to tell. I think Gyökeres needs to be stopped. I think he's on fire, on absolute form for club and country, and he's scoring for his league and Champions League. Look, I've gone for a draw tonight because I don't quite think that we will get the 3 points. I hope I'm wrong, because we need 3 points to get into this top 8. If we don't get 3 points tonight, it's going to be very hard for us to get into the top 8. We're going to have to rely on other teams to drop points. I will say this. I do think that the record that Arteta has in Europe is pretty poor. In the last 4 away games, we've not scored a goal, and we've lost every single one of them other than one when we drew to Atlanta away, and that was 0-0. So we haven't scored in the last 4 away games in Europe. That is not a good record. And if I'm honest with you can go further in the Europa League and look at teams that we've not beaten there as well. And in the group stage of last year, we lost to Lens away. We played Sporting Lisbon a couple of years ago in the Europa League over 2 legs. We lost over 2 legs. Ruben Amorim was the coach, funny enough. So, look, he's gone now. I don't know what they've done now to replace him. I don't know if they've got somebody new in or if they've got an interim for now. But for me, I think we should be winning, because I think we're better than them. But I think it's going to be a tough place to go. So I'll go for 1-1.
João Pereira has become the new club manager.
Okay.
João Pereira. I don't know who he is.
I don't know enough about him, so
maybe I'll search him and see his face and then realise who he is. How old is he? So he's 40, so he must have watched him play if he was a player. Who did he play for? He played for a lot of teams. He played for Sport. He played a lot of games for Sporting. Played for Valencia. Yeah, he played for Portugal. 40 games for Portugal. So we've probably seen him play, but just don't quite remember who he was, if I'm being honest.
They won 6-0 in the last match. Potsy.
He was a... Yeah, he did.
Gyökeres, mate. Gyökeres.
Oh, you know what? Pereira, he was their right. He was Portugal's right back. And now I realise who he was now. But yeah, they're still looking good. It's still a hard game. It's a if you win tonight, it's one of those games where obviously it should put you back inside the top 8 if you win. But this is a really big scalp. They are a very good team. They're a very good team at the minute.
I rate their players, and I think they're difficult at the back as well. Monday, I think they've still got an Nacho as well, so they've got some players who can actually keep it tight as well. I think it's going to be difficult.
And he, again, everyone's telling us this now. I didn't know this. He's promoted from the under 20s and the youth team, so he knows the team, he knows the squad, he knows the club. It's a sensible way of doing it. But yeah, what would your score predict?
It's a great win if we win. I think it's a great win if we win this. I think it's a difficult game.
It's almost like the Gyökeres audition, maybe.
Oh, I hope so. I don't think we will get him because I don't think that Arsenal are interested in a striker in January. I think we're waiting for the summer. But I think he will go in January to someone. And I think he will come to the Premier League, Chelsea or United. I think.
Nah, he will go Chelsea, man. They should just keep Jackson for now. Jackson's slamming it. I don't think United are going to buy another striker after Højlund and Xerxes.
Probably because there were two they got are shocking. They ain't going to win them nothing, so they got to go and get another one, in my opinion. And who better than the manager that knows him the best? I might be wrong. I hope he comes Arsenal, but I can't see it.
Listen, what's your score prediction for tonight, LB?
What for Arsenal?
For both games.
Arsenal, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. And for City, lads, the losing streak is over. We're going to win the game. Going to win 3-0. Can you believe that?
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I think we will win tonight.
What are you saying, Potsy?
Yeah, go 2-0 City and 1-1. I think City will win tonight. I think they have to. It's just, my God, it can't keep. Can it continue? If they don't win tonight, and I think they'll potentially lose at Anfield, that'd be 7 in a row.
Yeah, I can't see that. I'm going with 2-2 Arsenal Sporting, and I'm going 1-1 City final draw. The losing streak ends.
The losing streak is still over,
but the winless run continues. That's what we're hoping for. H. Cole here says Keane was fired in 2005. Jemba came in 2003, but he was purchased as a potential successor to Roy Keane. Is a point
I remember him, Eric Jemba.
So bad they named him twice. Is what they said. He was awful. And I remember once we had all these players missing for a game, and it wasn't until years later we all found out that he cooked a meal for the squad and he poisoned everyone. And we had 5 players missing for a game. I was like, oh my God, awful. Some of them signings back then were mad. We also signed Liam Mid. Who was the other? That was about the same time we signed a player called David Bellion.
Oh, David Bellion.
Oh,
he was terrible. Mate, Sunderland, wasn't it? Was he Sunderland? Sure,
I think we got him from Sunderland. Yeah, he was just absolute tripe. He really
remember the winger you had, Kleberson, as well. Remember him?
Kleberson, because he came in.
He's really good in the World Cup, wasn't he?
We've been done a few times. Like we bought Karol Poborski in 1996 after. And if you're a kid, if you're young and you haven't watched it, just put in Karol Poborski's goal from Euro 96 and you'll understand why we bought him. One of the goals he scored in that tournament was out of this world. What do you guys think about the likes of company that refuse to change system, gets teams relegated but gets hired by a better job? Feels like Russell Martin is doing the same thing.
Well, that's on the clubs. What's on the club? Club should, bro. The club can sack the manager. You know, the manager. If the manager's at the start of their career, yeah, then they want to climb the career ladder. So if they feel that the best way of doing that is by playing a certain way, a certain brand of football, which is going to get them a big move, i.e., that company's done, that's what you're going to do. Well, if you said to company, you've got 2 chances here, Vinny. Yeah, you'd play the same way all year with Burnley, but then they get relegated, but then you get to move to Bayern Munich. Or you play dead football that you don't want to play, and then you survive by a single point, but then you just stay at Burnley. Of course he's going to do that. It's up to the clubs. The clubs don't like it. Sack the manager and get someone else. Best way
to climb the career ladder, it seems to be Pep's mate. You get a job.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with what Russell Martin is doing, but equally you can go the other way. You look at Leicester and what they were building with Enzo Maresca, and then they go and bring in what's his face? Steve Cooper, who's a completely different type of manager. If they'd have gone to somebody that has a very similar outlook to Enzo Maresca, Leicester, I think, would be a better team in the Premier League this year. You've got to get your ethos right as a football club. And I don't know who Burnley have as them. It's okay with what Southampton are doing, though, because Southampton have always had, barring a couple of times where they went in the wrong direction, they went for a long period of trying to have progressive football playing managers. When it all started to go wrong in the Premier League is when they went away from that. So they've got to get their approach right. So I agree with LB. It's on the club. Gents, always a pleasure to talk football with you all. People, we're back tonight for the match reactions after the Champions League games. So make sure you're all tuning in. It'll be great to see you then. This video is going to take you through to Judge Mo's channel. I want to thank Potsy for his redirect earlier and Hussam for his. Remember to go check out It's LB and the 12th Man podcast right now on YouTube. Go and support the boys' shows. Until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.